Hey, this is Mikey with another After Effects tutorial. Today we're going to be creating this dynamic lower third, and instead of using complex expressions, we're going to be using the new Source HUD tool from Element Supply Company. Now, what Element Supply Company is, it's a new marketplace for tools that's a collaborative between a few of us different tool makers that you might recognize. And one of the tools on there is called Source HUD. Right here, and this is one that I've created with help of the rest of the team at Element Supply Company. Now, what Source HUD is it's a heads-up display for all of the information of your layer that After Effects just doesn't give you on its own. You have to like dig for it or know special expressions or really complex ways of finding it. But with this tool, you can just get at it super simple, and it's really great for creating lower thirds and templates and mogurts and things like that. Just like this. Let's kind of recreate this, and let's show you real quick. One thing about this is everything is all super dynamic, so you can see everything. Everything just moves along with it. And even this company down at the bottom, you can see it just automatically moves around, and pretty simple to create that. So let's grab a new layer and let's start building this thing. So I'm going to have my first name. And to this, I'm going to add the Source HUD preset. And it's over here in the presets folder, and I'm going to just drag and drop it on. Now you can see here up in the effects controls, there is this Source HUD effects controller. And you can see the box width, box height. You can see the absolute position of all these corners, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And I can come in here and transform this. You know what, let's make this so it's a little easier to see. I'm going to turn this font black and then turn this background back. There we go. And you can see there is a mask around it. If I hit M, you can bring up the mask path down here. There's the source mask. Now, if I were to come in here and change the padding, it brings in and out that mask. I can also extend, say the bottom or the top or the left or the right, right? Really cool. And also for text, it will give you the character count with and without spaces, word count, line count, things like that. So it's really kind of a cool heads-up display for everything you need to know. Because we have these corners, we can do cool things by connecting them. So I'm going to duplicate this and move it over here. So now I have two layers with the Source HUD on it. Let's change this to last. So what I want to do is that let's change these justification to left instead of right down on the paragraph settings. And I'm going to take the position of this last one. I'm going to select the first down here, and let's lock it up here so that we can get at these controls even when I select this other layer. Let's go to the position. I'm going to add an expression to this. Simply value plus, and then in square brackets, I'm going to pick whip the bottom right, just the first value, and then comma 0, close that square bracket. And now I can move this wherever I want, and you can see that it just, whatever I want to type in here, it automatically adjusts everything. So you can see how quickly I was able to do that. So next thing we want to do is add a background behind it. So I'm going to do this with just a shape layer. And I'm going to make a big, long, doesn't need to be that big actually. Rectangle. Let's put that below those. And now that we've got that background rectangle, we can turn these back white so we can see them. And let's take that last name and give it a little more space. Now with this one, let's unlock and let's lock that now, that last, make sure we're on the last one. And we're going to do the same thing, but I want to change the position of this the same way. Value plus in square brackets. Let's pick that bottom right. And then we do comma 0. And let's move this to where we want it, right there. Now we can type in a long last name, and it just pushes everything over. You can see how quickly and easily that is to do that. Now let's add the bottom piece to it, which was the name of the company. So I'm going to come in here and type in company name. Let's bring that down. And to this, let's add that Source HUD effect. And I'm going to do something a little different with this. Because there is a mask, I can do things with the mask. So I'm going to add to this a solid composite. If you go to Effects, Channel, Solid Composite, and it's adding just a white color on top of this. Let's change that to a blue color. And if we go down into the effects, so I just hit E on the keyboard and it brought up my effects, and into solid composite, we have these compositing options. If I hit the plus sign, it will bring in that mask and only apply the solid composite to that mask, which is pretty cool. So let's come in and maybe extend the padding a little bit so it's bigger. And let's put this below that other shape layer, just so that it is down below. Now what I can do is, well, let's pin this to the end. What I want it to line up with the end of that last name. So let's take this company name, and this one I want it to be right justified. So let's change the paragraph settings to right justification. Let's bring that over, and I want it to be pinned so that it's just hitting that last, right here at the last of the name. Bring up my position on that layer, and up here we have the effects for the last, and we're going to do a similar thing. Let's go to position, and we go value, plus, and again we're going to pick that bottom right, and then add a 0. And then let's just slide that over to exactly where we want it. So now, last name, if we have a long last name, you can see that just moved with it. Now another thing we can do with this is, let's go to that company name, and I'm going to add to this a text animator. So let's go to animation, and let's change the position. And I'm going to move that up. Actually, I'm going to move it down. Go into the range selector. And we can change the start so it goes like that. And what we have here is this kind of a thing. And the issue that we have is that box is dynamic. You see how that just changes over the time of the name. But what we can do is come in here to these mask settings. Well, let's check this box that says mask time set at 0. And then, well, let's make sure we're on the right one. Mask time set at 0. And then we need to put a keyframe. Right now, it's taking the box shape of this layer at 0, but we want it to take it later in time. So let's add a keyframe to later where we want that to look at the shape of the layer. So now we can see that that comes up into that box, just like that. Now you can see here, it's not masking it out anymore. That's because that mask is being used for the solid composite. So easy enough. We just need to come in and then duplicate that mask that's in there, and then the new one will mask out those words. All right. So now let's add a little more animation to this. Let's keyframe these positions. Add some easing to that. I'm just going to do this really quick. When you're doing this yourself, you're going to want to add a lot of, take a little more time to make this look nicer. But you can see, oh, let's actually, let's move this to right here. And we're going to keyframe at the position of that box so it slides up from behind. There we go. So you can see in just a few minutes, I was able to rig all of this up so that you can see, I can change these names and everything just lines up. And now we have a dynamic lower third built using the Source HUD tool from Element Supply Company in a matter of minutes. So really cool tool, and it can do so much stuff. So check it out. There's an introductory price point at $5, and then after that it's only $6. Let me know your thoughts, and I'd love to see any of the Mogerts or lower thirds or templates that you create using this. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.